Hello everyone, it's Bon and welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video, so thank you for those of you who have stayed, and if you're new, welcome. My name is Bon and this channel is kind of like a show and tell of what I've been currently up to, mostly relating to painting or film photography. I just wanted to update you all with what I've been up to in the past 10 months or so since I last uploaded a video, and basically I've been traveling and moving quite often since May last year. For the spring and summer I was in the UK, and for the fall I was in Vancouver. Right now I'm actually in Toronto, which is fun, I guess, but that's the reason why I haven't uploaded as much as I would have loved to. That said, even with a busy work schedule, I still challenged myself to do photography on my free time. So I have a backlog of film photography stuff that I can show you if you guys are interested. Speaking of which, since like I said, I've been traveling a lot in the past year, I kind of want to talk a little bit about my experience traveling with film. It's actually quite funny because back in 2017, before I got into film photography, I saw a post from a friend of mine saying that, film photography is not a hobby but a lifestyle, and I thought they were just being, a pretentious prick. But here I am 2 years later and thinking back or reflecting back on my experience with film photography, I would actually agree with them that yes, film photography is a lifestyle. Why do I think that? Well, because most of the time, at least from my perspective, people who go into hobbies, aside from budgeting time or money, most of the time people don't really have to change things in their everyday life to accommodate it, right? Whereas in film photography, I found that I had to create a lot of adjustments in order for me to be able to do it. For example, whenever I go through air travel, I would always carry with me this pouch where I would put all of my film to ask the airport security for a hand check. And I never really had a problem with airport security. They usually hand check my film bag if I asked to. However, there have been places that basically just told me that it's fine for my film as long as they're under ISO 800 to go through their X-ray. Which is true. I've never really had any film that was destroyed because it went through an airport security X-ray. I even had ISO 800 ones go through the airport security X-ray, and I was just like, I'm an idiot, it's gonna get ruined. But it's not, it's fine. Some people might say that the contrast levels of the photos have gone down, but to me it's not really noticeable, so I'm fine with it. Although, as much as possible, I still try to ask for a hand check of my films because I heard, or at least from reading online blogs from other film photographers, the effects of X-rays is additive, which means that the more X-rays the film is exposed to, the more apparent their effects on the film become. So yeah, if you're going through multiple connections where you'll have to go through securities more than once, it's probably best to just have a pouch like this so you can just easily give it to the airport security person, and it's still fast for them, and so they won't really be annoyed with you, I would say. Also, I try to always come up to them all confident, and with a big smile on my face, because I'm trying to be as non-threatening as possible and as accommodating as possible. So yeah, most of my experience have been great so far. Fingers crossed. Another thing that I started doing whenever I travel or if I'm moving to a new place is to go look for places that process or sell and develop film. So when I was in Vancouver, I frequently went to the lab. Their service and scans are great. Here in Toronto, my go-to is Downtown Cameras, and so far I'm really loving their service and their scans have been really great as well. So there are other things that I can go on about the changes that I had to do in order to accommodate this hobby, like being responsible with chemicals if you're developing at home, but that's a story for another video. So what do I bring with me when I travel? Well, it really depends on how light I want to travel, and usually carry around my Minolta SRT 202 because it's a tank. Yeah, it's fully mechanical and made of solid metal, so I never had to worry about lugging it around and it possibly breaking on me. This is in contrast to my other cameras like the Minolta X700 that has old electronics in it, and it just felt like sometimes they're unreliable, and if they break, then I won't be able to use them. So I bring maybe about 2 lenses for this camera. My go-to is usually this 50mm f1.4, which is small and light, which is great if I'm trying to travel light. But I also usually bring a telephoto lens. Usually I bring the 135mm f2.8. However, right now I have this zoom lens, which is the 35 to 70mm f3.5, which is a really great all-rounder. However, it might not be really good for low light situations. I also would usually bring an extra camera with me, usually smaller ones with a fixed lens, just like this rangefinder from Yashica, which is the Electro 35cc, and it has a 35mm f1.8 lens that is great. So aside from the extra camera, I would also bring this disposable camera from Lomography, which is the simple use film camera. And I've reused this 4 times now and it's still doing great. So yeah, I have a video that I would link somewhere up here if you're interested on how to refill it. So that's what I usually bring with me if I want to travel light. However, sometimes I would also bring with me my medium format camera, which is the Fuji GW690 Mark II, but my luggage is kind of getting heavy now, so I didn't bring it. I did bring, however, my Lomo Instant Square from Lomography, and this is an instant camera that kind of folds like that. Takes Fuji Instax Square photos, which is great. For film, my go-to is the Lomography Color -400, but more recently I've been really liking their ISO 800 variant just because it's so flexible. Like, I could basically use it in any type of weather, cloudy, sunny, or lighting situation like sunsets. And this is great because weather and lighting situations is kind of unpredictable when you're traveling around. I also bring a few artsy film like the Lomography Lomochrome Purple for times when I'm feeling adventurous. So yeah, I think that is pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. Let me know what you guys want to see from me next. Maybe comment it down below. I've been thinking about uploading videos that are sort of like a visual diary of my travels. So if you're interested with seeing that, maybe give this video a thumbs up and I will start uploading them. I don't know. Anyways, thanks for sticking with me through the end of this video, and hopefully I will see you guys in the next one. Cheers!